our show, Workforce Waves, and we're here every Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. on WSTX AM 970. Our guest today, can you please introduce yourself? This one.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ayanda Daniels, but I answer to Yandi. Thank you for having me this morning. And I'm here to represent Strategic Solution Network Inc. and our new initiative, Rise BI.
Yes, and Ms. Daniels is also a member of the Virgin Islands Workforce
I am.
So she is here to talk about Rise VI, and it's a grassroots movement, and it's a season of transformation that has begun. So, Ms. Daniel, can you tell us what VI Rise is about?
So Rise BI is exactly as you mentioned it, Sonia. It's a grassroots movement. And the acronym stands for Restore, Invest, Sustain, Empower. And we do this by focusing on three elements, which is yourself, the community, and your environment. So whatever you do, it needs to make sure that it connects to yourself, it connects to the community, it connects to the environment. And at all times, it must restore, it must invest, it must sustain, and it must empower. That is the science. It's a connection. It's not a reinvention. It's saying, bring that thing that you're good at, bring that thing that you're passionate about, and let's connect with each other to move our Virgin Islands forward. And in this instance, specifically St. Croix.
So what inspired this movement?
I'll say it started just selfishly with me wanting and being desperate for the elements that that I am passionate about as a Virgin Islander and as a Crucian, like the things that were essential to my upbringing, the smell, the sound, the feel, it was absent. And for the first time in my life, I had to make a decision whether home was going to continue to be my home or if I needed to migrate somewhere else. And so from being in community circles, from listening into town halls, from the Facebook conversations, just being in tune with all of that, and speaking to like-minded people, we recognized that we needed more. We needed to do more, and we needed to connect the pieces because each of us had our unique talent and passion. And what we found is that once we started connecting, we were really able to make an impact. So it just started out of me, for me personally, but it grew out of just recognizing that my need was a shared need across many people here in our community. And so together we started connecting that passion, and it birthed into Rise VI.
So what are the core principles behind Rise VI?
What are your core principles, right? So we start with a declaration, and our declaration highlights exactly what we think you should be guided by. But it's that natural inherent thing within you. What are you guided by? What are the things you want to see? What are the spirits that you're led by? What ancestors motivate you? That's the thing you show up with. We're not telling you what to bring. We're just saying what you bring here is how you can connect it to the bigger picture. And so the declaration, which we are hoping to share with everybody during the Limbridge Tree Lighten, will help you understand just how you can take your personal elements and connect it to the bigger picture. I don't know if that's something.
No, I mean, I think you hit it right on. It's December 12th, right?
December 12th.
Yeah, so December 12th, Limpert Park, tree lighting. What I would say about the declaration is that just like how your good president likes to give his executive orders, or even our governor gives an executive order, this is our executive order from the community to the community, charging each other with taking on the individual responsibility to be a part of the change. And one of the big parts of Rise VI is that the thought process is that no matter where you are as a Virgin Islander, whether you're here locally or you're in Europe, in the US mainland, in South America, South Africa, no matter where you are, there is a role that you can play to invest back into the community that created you, right? That allowed you to have, these great experiences all throughout the world. And we want you to participate. So Rise VI is making it easier for everyone to participate. So if you're local and you're able to give your time, great. If you need to give a check, great. If you need to give a discount, great. If you need to just support and connect somebody who needs a resource and be a connector, great. our big push is that no matter where you are in your stage of life, if you don't have a penny to knock together, there is still something for you to do to help.
Yep. Yep.
So what are some of the programs, initiatives, projects that Rise VI will be undertaking?
So as a core committee, we'll lead 3 quarterly projects. Right now, we're looking at sacred spaces. So our first launch project, we're going to do it across 3 areas of St. Croix. So Frederickstead, Mid-Island, and Christiansted. And we are going to transform 3 specific places into like just a wellness opportunity. So you can come there and just be at peace. You can come there and meditate. You can just come there and feel like you belong. And so simultaneously, we are going to transform 3 areas within St. Croix to allow this type of space for our community because it's needed, right? Mental health is real. We're seeing it show up in different faces now. And so we felt like that would be a really impactful way to launch our movement. But the move has already been happening. Let me make that clear.
Yeah.
We're not saying reinvent it, right? There are some awesome people that are doing some awesome work. And some of these people just need connection. They need help, right? They need somebody to maybe help them paint, maybe somebody to help them design a plan. So there's work already being done. We're just connecting the pieces and helping to motivate and guide and direct people who might want to be a part of this, but just don't know how. So while we have 3 or we have 4 projects that we'll launch every year, the work is happening all around us.
I'll also add that one of the objectives will be to launch Nation Builder, which is a tool to help volunteers. Yeah. And so Strategic is going to sponsor the cost of having Nation Builder and act as the connector so that when people are like, me know what I want to do, I don't know where to start, right? And through Nation Builder, we'll be able to say, well, here are some opportunities. Oh, you like working with children? Here are some opportunities where you can either volunteer, where you can give a workshop, where you can write a check, where you can provide resources. Here are your opportunities. So our goal is literally to get every month someone new to say, I'm stepping up to, give something to my community. And even if that something is 30 minutes, it's $5, is some dirt from Home Depot to help with a garden. There's no judgment on what your contribution is. Our goal is to contribute. We want every Virgin Islander, specifically the Crucians, speak up. Whether you've been born here, transplanted here, you decide to live here, you can't help it, but you have to live here. If you are on this rock, then we are expecting you to be able to contribute while you're here. And even like I said, if you have
associated with the rock,
connected with the rock, if your bloodlines connected here, if you live here for a while, any connection to here, if you feel the energy, because you hear a lot of transplants say that, right? That for whatever reason, they can't still be here, but they're still connected to the island. I just had some conversations about that. You too can contribute. This is an opportunity for everybody to jump in.
Yes.
Lori?
Oh,
See, she tries to hide it.
I'm
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
I'm
We talk.
taking it in.
And Lori's a great connector too. Like I think that's
Absolutely.
I'll use her as an example. I know professionally her job is to connect as the person that manages the what is the one stop? Are you the one stop, right? That's your official
Operator.
one stop operator. She is the one stop
At the
operator
American Job Center.
at the American Job Center, which is housed at the Department of Labor offices in each island. And her core job is literally what we're talking about, but with government agencies and partners. So she connects the different resources, human services, health and education and labor and the American Job Center. She connects all these people so that we have a good working relationship, so that when it's time to provide services to our community members, we have an inside scoop, we have a natural connection that's organic. And that is something similar that we want to recreate, but in the grassroots community base where you have a network, of people that are already connected, oh, you need, students for volunteer hours because you have this art project. No problem.
Yeah, we got you.
We can work with the, Children's Museum. We can work with the, Caribbean Museum for the Arts. We can work with Eliana, the artistry. Like we have so many, folks that we could connect you with so that you have the opportunity to partner with somebody.
And I think a real world example, I want to give us some big ups because I think that's a really real-time way of explaining how this works. So Lizette Llanos, love you. Thank you so much for always showing up.
Israel's mom.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for always showing up, Liz. Liz saw a need, right? She was traveling one day and understood, our economy, understood that the federal workers weren't getting paid. And she was impressed by just the service that she had received despite the challenges that they were going
From
through.
TSA.
From TSA. And so Liz went on Facebook and put out a call and said, hey, these TSA workers have been showing up every day and servicing us without comp. They're going home without knowing how they're going to make ends meet. I want to help. Can anybody support? And so she just put that call out. She wasn't motivated by RISE. She was motivated by herself, right? By that inherent thing in her to say, I need to do something that's beyond me. And she connected all the pieces. So she put the call out there, and we had some awesome individuals that show up in their form, right? She didn't say what you needed to do. She said, can you do something?
Wow.
And that something led to TSA employees being fed for like a week or two. I think it
like
was
2 weeks.
like 2 weeks.
Nice.
I mean, Strategic Solutions, we jumped on the call, big up my West people then, because all the gas stations in West, I went to each and every one of them, and each and every one of them was like, what do you mean? Of course we're gonna help. And just one, we filled the basket. We filled the basket, and we were able to make such a huge impact just by one person making that call and everybody hearing it and doing what they could within their capacity. And that's what RISE VI is. That's the science, right? What do you need? How can I connect to help? What can we do to make sure that we truly, truly make an impact? Because when you look at that, she did something for herself, she did something for her community, and she did something for the environment in just with that one act. And it restored, it invested, it sustained, and it empowered.
I have something. Oh, so
No, let me just add, I'm gonna let you jump in real quick, but just to add to that story, what Lisette doesn't realize and why it's so important for the community to step in. So the last shutdown, Delta Sigma Theta, we fed the TSA agents, right?
Okay.
But listen to, that's great. And of course I'm a Delta, so I'm biased. But why I say that this is great is because now instead of activating like we normally would have the last time we did, we got to move our resources and support another effort. So when you step in to do something, then other organizations that are already doing the work get to pivot and move on to doing additional work. So that one little, I shouldn't say little, but that very simple clarion call allowed other organizations, and I'm sure we're not the only ones, right? I'm sure there are other organizations who normally would step up, but because that was happening, we were able to pivot and do other things that we are already working on, whether it's our alumni stuff or anti-gun violence, but we didn't have to do that part. And I think that's really important for the community to recognize that your step, no matter how simple it may seem to you, has a ripple effect and can really be exponential in getting the help that our community needs throughout this environment. So I just want to share how that ripple effect can happen.
And just to close off on that, big up to One Love and Fastway and Stop and Shop and everyone that we went to Chicken Shack. I can't list all the names, but I don't want to miss nobody. I just want to say to the ones that I reached out to directly, I wanted to give because encouragement comes from appreciation and gratitude, right? And I hold a sense of gratitude that they stepped up, and so I appreciate each and every one of them.
All right, drum roll, Lori.
Oh. So I'm totally gonna mess up this quote, but this reminds me of Arthur Ashe. I think this was his. I'm gonna mess this up, but basically, is use what you have, and do what you can to make a difference. And I'll add from where you are. And so I just love how this is all coming together, and community engagement to really get people to buy in. We have to take the first step, and then other people come on board. It doesn't work when we're telling people this is what you have to do.
No, tell us what you want to do. We have a rule in our committee where it doesn't matter if two show up.
Or two might
show up. It doesn't matter if two show up. We are still meeting. We are still going to be productive. We are still
and
going
moving
to act.
forward.
We're moving forward.
Yes.
And nobody holds animosity against the team for moving forward. They understand that you can't meet us in this moment. We will reserve your space, but we will continue our walk. And that's the essence of the RISE VI committee. We're going to keep moving, even if it's 2 or 3. because it always starts with that single step, right? It always starts with that. So we're gonna keep stepping.
So what is that? I know we talked when you started, you talked about wellness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you said the island divided in three sections. You're gonna take further. The labyrinth at the state, not Washington, in Fredericksburg. I think that is like the ideal place. Have you walked the labyrinth
here's
yet?
the funny thing. I just learned about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I just learned about it. Did not know about that
Yeah,
before.
walking in the labyrinth and just leaving. And all of this,
Yes.
it's just a
Yeah.
pressure
Yes.
for your mental health.
And so
pressure.
just trying to create more spaces
Like
like
that.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one of our targets is to find spaces that you normally would not have thought
Mhm.
to stop at. Like, so we were looking at the vegetable market in Fredericksburg. If you go there now, you might be meditating, but it ain't the kind of meditation that you're thinking about. Like, it's a different kind of meditation happening, right? But what if we created a zone where it was, right?
Mhm.
Where it inspired those that live there, those that patronize there, to meditate in a different way, to create a different energy or a better energy and a great vibe there, right? So that's one of the things that we're looking at, is trying to add additional spaces for our community to find, just that calm. And we feel that that will have a ripple effect in how we treat each other. When I see you in the street, when you cut me off, I could be like, man, I just come from my little spot. Go ahead. You must be in a rush. Go ahead. You got some place to go. Versus laying on my hand and giving you, a couple, MSs and all kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do, is just create natural synergies. When you drive past and you see a wall and art, you can't help to be like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Your heart naturally softens.
Yes.
Like,
it puts you in a different
Yes,
mood.
it does.
you can't help it.
Does.
You
It
can't help it. You can't be angry looking at art.
That's why they have those, I guess, Art Thursdays or around the world, that people have art in their homes. So
art therapy is a thing.
But it's just listen to the stories of when people leave here, like St. Croix. What do they talk about, right? They talk about nature and just the air and just the vibe and the music. Like, that's who we are. Like St. Croix, we ain't trying to be no big city. We ain't trying to compete with St. Thomas. That's who we be.
Yeah.
We want to be able to go on the waterfront and meditate, and our kids do art. We want to be able to drive, from east to west and just see murals everywhere. We want to go into communities and see gardens and people on bikes. We want, we don't want reactive healthcare. We want people to be able to treat themselves before they got to get to Wang Louis. So we don't have to complain about Wang Louis not having sheets, because we're doing the wellness before we have to get there. We want to create those spaces.
Yeah, and even the Crucian dialect, that I've seen people being, nail on the cross for having it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's a whole other show.
With, just because if we are talking about mental wellness and mental health and being the best that we, and meeting each other in the space where we are, and having a Crucian dialect, it's not, there's nothing wrong with that.
I used to tell my employees that all the time. When I tell you speak properly, I am not speaking about your accent. I'm speaking about your grammar. Let's get that. Look, don't get me started on this. Like, we should be proud of where we are. Never mind my accent's washed up because I've been all over the world traveling, right? But you should be proud of your accent, however it comes out. Speaking properly just means grammar.
Precisely.
It does not mean your accent or anything else, your pitch, your deepness of your voice. Like, even in corporate America, they often train women to speak with a lower voice.
Code switch.
Yeah, but not even just code switching. Like, they want you to always be somebody else. And that's what I have an issue. Like, code switch to me is like, I could talk when I want to and switch over there, but I should be able to speak in my comfortable accent in whatever tone of voice I have, and not feel like I have to present as somebody else for you to receive and accept me. So I guess we're going all off, but the point of having these spaces is so that you can feel more in touch with yourself and more in tune with, some of your goals. And just to link this to what we're doing with workforce development, I think it's important, because if you have team members, if you have leaders that are more in touch with their authentic self, if they're comfortable with themselves, then it's easier for them to connect with you, connect with their, not just their job. Yandi and I were speaking about this the other day, but connect with their purpose at their job.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a receptionist, is your purpose to answer the phone, or is your purpose to solve the challenge for the person on the other end, right? Whatever that challenge is their challenge is they need to connect with whoever else, or they need information.
Different, yeah.
Yeah. So my purpose is not answering the phone. My purpose is solving that person on the other end that has a challenge. I want to solve that challenge. And so how we get to that point is by creating the inner calm, right? By creating a connection to purpose and to community. And that's how we're able to move forward. So when somebody asks you, if you're working for tourism, where's the nearest, restaurant? Oh, well, there's one in Akana.
Yeah.
Or you could say, there's a local one right here that has great plantains and roti, but you could also get a good pate right over here.
And if you go down the road there,
the local juice is right here, and then our local ice cream is right around the corner. So like, instead of just again answering, is there a restaurant down here? Yes, right down Ghana. Or do you answer your purpose and you share all your goodies and your favorites?
And that's why RISE starts with self-intentionally. We can't put in the work for our community or environment or each other if we don't put in the work for ourselves. We need to deal with whatever we got going on inside of us that don't allow us to show up as our true authentic self, that don't allow us to greet people with purpose and intention, right? So we want you to put in the work for you, which is why we're starting with, let's create some spaces. Let's do meditation on the waterfront. Let's figure out where we do wellness. Let's do centers of belonging. Let's create these activities so children and adolescents and families can show up. That's why we're starting with that. Because when we show up for ourselves, then we can show up for each other. And it's more resilient, it's more sustainable, it's more long-term. And then we're leaning on our ancestors, right? They got some good there that we're forgetting, right? They got some people there that's gone, but they're still there to help us through this, right? Let's navigate with the excellence that they have left on the table. There's some crumbs that we need to kind of, we got to put in a bag and we got to put it away because we know that it doesn't serve us in this moment in our lives, but there are some good that they left behind that we need to rely on, and we keep forgetting that. Lori got it.
So you can't pour from an empty cup.
Facts.
Preach.
And so the creation of the special spaces and that type of thing, you're doing restoration.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So then if we have more, we can give more.
Exactly. You got it.
I like it.
Do it. Snap, snap.
Right. I wanted to connect as I'm listening, and the four of us here can get on this whole energy vibe real quick, and we can get in this fluffy space. And I did want to connect this with those that might be a little bit more what's the word I want to say?
More convincing.
Yeah, or even the way that you approach life might be in numbers or hardline, with that. And I just wanted to share that the benefit of this fluffiness or this mental state or this approach, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds good, but I don't have time for it. And I think that we don't have the luxury not to make time for it. Yeah. So if you are a business owner or manager of people and you need them to be productive, this is why this is important. People who are not settled and not focused are unproductive. You think they're sitting down at that desk for 8 hours? How many hours are you getting of productivity? And so if you want to increase your productivity of your team members, of yourself, things like this is what you need to use. It doesn't cost much. You could take a field trip or just even go to a space and just have everybody on your team sit there in that beautiful space, in that labyrinth, in the park, wherever you go, and just take 15 minutes. And all you want them to do is look at the plants, look at the bush, very simple things that cost you zero. And then let them go back to work and look at your productivity numbers.
Yep.
This is statistically proven. There's so many studies about what happens when you recalibrate, when you rest, when you stop just, seeing past the flowers and you actually look at it. And so I just wanted to share that with those that may not be, into the fluffiness and the energy and all that kind of good stuff, for those folks to realize how it impacts your bottom line, how it impacts your day-to-day, and how people, can show up differently in a way that you can measure,
Yeah, I don't want to get my people back more, because I'm gonna be there for a while. But I just wanted to add to that. For me, I think it's going to a space, but I think that we need to create the communities and the workplaces where those spaces are embedded into your policies, into your practices, into your environments. Your employees shouldn't have to go to it. It should be a part of your culture, because when it's part of your culture, then you get your return. Right? You shouldn't have to walk to it.
So you can have like a wall, you can have
Just
a chair.
Yeah, space, a room.
Outside, get a table with an umbrella.
Simple. Talk into us. We'll help you.
And I can even see how this is, the even bigger, broader. We just talked about public safety.
Exactly.
If people have a moment to just take a breath,
exactly,
some of the trigger reactions will be eliminated.
Yes.
Which means we won't have people lying in a pool of blood on the street.
And I think this is the walk before the help, because one of the gaps we see in our community, however you want to define it, as the reason why, is that just a connection to mental health, or the connection to help itself, whether it's a therapist, they're not taking that walk. So what if this is the step, right? What if this is the step? What if we create the community where wellness is part of who we are? And so showing up to the therapist is not just like, it's just who we are, right? And so you're comfortable to do that. And I think when we create these experiences, when we create these spaces, we're creating just a really, really strong lifeline to our future and generations to come. It's more than just this moment,
Right.
And this is cost effective.
It is.
Think about how much money we're saving.
Think of how many people we're saving.
It just right there. When I look at that, because I'm thinking workforce, economy, all of that. This is really tied in directly to that. We don't see it necessarily, but
it does. Retention
right
is because of that, right? When you have high turnover, it's normally because you don't have a good culture. It's normally because the people who lead you don't understand how to lead people. They aren't sensitive to the issues. They don't know how to talk about the issues. They don't have spaces for you to sit. They tell you when you come to work, leave your personal problems at home. Tell me where that science is true. You can't do it, right? And so why don't we create spaces in the workplace where you can bring your personal problems? It's accepted. You have the support, more than just calling a number to speak to somebody. And so that's what we're trying to do, is create a community of wellness, create a community of purpose, create a community of intention, right? That might mean we need to build a center. It might mean we need to do a garden. It might mean we need to all come to the beach together one day. I don't know. What is it that you feel we need to do?
You said it so perfectly when you talked about purpose. Can you expound on that a bit more? Because when you just, because it doesn't have to be high up the food chain. You started with a receptionist. So that people can see how simple, and not that I think a receptionist has a very complex job, because you're the first person.
Correct.
That, and for any
they're the
business,
face of any company.
Start lower. You're part-time person at the airport. You can start lower.
But that person is like, you're the first line of defense for that company, business, agency, and that purpose. Speak to us some more so people can get a deeper understanding of how far this thing is, and the effect on the mind and the bottom line period.
I'll even go into, what I call the invisible roles. So those individuals that are usually cleaning facilities and so forth, I call them invisible because a lot of people don't see them. They don't even pay attention to them or think about them. I'm one of those. I was taught, especially from corporate America, those are the first people I make friends with.
We were taught that from young.
Because, they always will take care of you. And I think that if you are one of those, right, and that's usually a stepping stone position, right, and you move up the ladder in whatever direction. But most folks, when they look at that position of those that are the invisible positions, like those that are cleaning, like, well, how hard it could be to, sweep or wash the dishes or whatever the case may be. But what if you rearrange that and you said that, oh no, my purpose here, not just my job, my purpose is to make people feel welcome, to create safe spaces, because if you don't have something to trip on, then it's safe for you. My purpose is to make sure that you stay clean and healthy, because if I don't wipe down doorknobs and if I don't, clean up the handrails and so forth, germs get passed. So in every job, no matter how quote unquote invisible or unimportant it may be perceived to others, you can find a deeper purpose. And that's something that, Yandy and I talk about as we are working with different business owners and so forth with what they need, is that you have to make sure that every one of your team members understands their purpose, not just their job description.
The purpose of being there.
Yeah. What's your purpose? When I had the restaurant open, my host in the front, she made probably the least amount. And I would tell them, you are the first impression. Your purpose is to start off their day on a good note. We don't know what they're coming in the door with. But from this minute, we changing their energy.
Right, carpet service.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But we only then chat. It don't matter. This is ours. And so we get to translate it. So in our handbook, smiling was a requirement. Like it was in the handbook. You are required to smile when you come to work.
And when you find your purpose too, there's value in what you do, right? You show up differently, you act differently, you represent differently. And so that's why it's so critical to make sure that they connect with purpose, because then you get your value, right? That's when you show up. That's when you don't have to worry about employees coming late or leaving early. That's when you don't have to worry about workplace injuries. That's when you don't have to worry about somebody cussing you off, right? Because they understand the purpose and it connects them to the value of being there.
The governor always tells me he can't afford me. And at first I was like, I know you can't, but like, that's a weird comment to make, right? And then I thought about it and I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, because you just do things because you just believe in it, right? And I thought about that. I'm like, it's so true. What I do for the governor, y'all know I got like 10 jobs, but what I do for the governor, I do it because I'm passionate.
Yeah, she really does.
Right. But I do it because I'm passionate about it and I see the purpose, right? I see how it connects the dots for so many of our community members. And so for me, it's great to have a paycheck. But the reality is, one, let me just say that what I'm getting paid, I got paid when I first graduated from college. That wasn't yesterday. That was umpteen years ago. So the value for me is not in the dollars and cents. The value is in my purpose and in what I'm doing. The value is the impact of what I'm doing. The value for me is the residual of what I'm doing. Because no one will know, right? Only those I work with will understand what I've been a part of, but I know it and that's connected to my purpose. And so he doesn't have to motivate me because I'm already there. And that for your team members, that for those managers out there, those owners, when you get people who buy in, my employees, when they would come to interview, they would tell the interviewees, you might want to reschedule because she's not going to see you dressed like that. They understood what we were doing. They had bought into it.
They're your ambassadors.
Yeah. So they when I first I come out and I'm looking for the place, am I supposed to have it? They're like, no, they said they're going to reschedule. What happened? Well, I tell them that they won't dress properly and I don't think that you're going to see them. So they said that they're going to reschedule and call you back. Okay.
Smart move.
Yeah.
And these are not my managers, these are the servers.
Yeah.
But because they understood what we were trying to do, they understood that, if that person didn't value and think highly of us and what we were trying to do, they might not be a good fit as a team member for them.
Yeah.
Never mind the owner,
for them.
but for them, they're like, I don't know if I want you to be one of my team members, right? You don't look like you're ready, and so that was one of the biggest eye openers that I just will always keep with me from having that that there, and the impact of purpose and making sure that your team members are connected to that, have the opportunity to feel comfortable. Yandy mentioned that earlier, and you have to create these spaces in your place as well, not just outside, and that takes an effort. It can't just be, whoever is quote unquote in charge. Your team members have to feel ownership. And that goes back to our community, right?
It does.
These community spaces, big up to St. Croix Foundation.
Yes.
They were actually a connector. We were already planning on doing Rise, and they really helped to just kind of connect us and push us all forward. And as we were there and they're talking about the different spaces and so forth, I think that it's just important for us to remember that that environment needs to be there, and we need to create those spaces so that our folks feel comfortable, even in the community. Oh, that's what I was going to say, because y'all know I forgot, right? We just talked about that. We were concerned about creating community spaces that may be destroyed.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
So if we create these community spaces in the most, unconventional areas, right? Let's call them unconventional areas. There was a concern that somebody would come and vandalize it. If we create artwork, would they, mess it up or whatever? And I love that, several people spoke up and said that we have to make the community feel comfortable and own the space.
Yeah.
Just community engagement.
It's theirs.
Yeah.
It's theirs.
So it's not us coming in to say, this is what you need to do in your space. It's us coming in and saying, hey, do you like this space? Do you like how this space makes you feel? What would you like to see here? We wanted to put a little bush teapot here where you could come and pick your bush tea wherever you want and take a little piece and boil it when you go home, whatever it is, right? But we can't be afraid to transform spaces that are usually not considered safe spaces, comfortable spaces. When I say safe, not just in crime, but safe in mental, safe spaces. We have to challenge ourselves to open up the opportunity for those folks to embrace it and take ownership of those spaces.
So what kind of partnerships from this community would strengthen the work that you're doing?
All of it. All of it. We are not selective. We are saying, come as you are. We are the church. Come as you are. A good church. Come as you are. Non-denominational, right? And just come as you are. Because every element connects to the bigger piece. And you keep hearing connection, you keep hearing purpose, you keep hearing intention, because those are the words we want to drive when we talk about Rise VI, right? What can you bring? You might have an idea we didn't think of. You might have a resource that we didn't imagine. Bring it forward. Tell us what you need. Tell us how we can support you, and let's make that connection. At the end of this, we just want to make sure that we leave the Virgin Islands in good hands for our children and for the generations to come. Selfishly, I'm a West girl, right? I am from Frederiksted, and every time I go through Frederiksted, it hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts me. My family owns business still till this day in Frederiksted. I grew up as an adult in Frederiksted. I grew up as a child. I grew up as a parent in Frederiksted. I know Frederiksted. And so when I see it, it hurts me. And similarly, while it's there's still similarities. You go to Christians and I'm like, okay, wait, where's the people? Where's the excitement? I want the smell. I want the sound. We all want it. It's looking at the problem and saying, instead of saying, what are you going to do to fix it? Saying, what I don't do to fix it, right? What I don't like to see the tires there. I don't like to see the trash there. Don't say what they gonna do. What am I going to do?
Of the space.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Because this problem isn't theirs, it's mine.
And if you can recognize it as a problem, you should be able to offer some kind of solution.
Exactly.
It may not be something, you may not have deep pockets. It could be something as simple as cleaning up the trash around.
Or talk to others.
It's
come up with a solution, right? Together.
I had a whole emotional vent with Sana the other day because I went to West and I saw the tires, and it just really, really, my whole background, my whole education is leading people, organizations, communities, just leading and transforming people. And so when I went there and I saw two workers trying to clean all this mess, if you ever went to the dump in Frederiksted, just two workers trying to do it all, it broke my heart. And I took a picture and I put it on Facebook, hoping to engage the community. I started first with, here's the problem. And everybody commented, no solutions in these comments, very few. Let me do this again. Now here's some solutions. And I read, there was 200 and something comments. I read everyone. Ask me the percentage of solutions that came out of those comments. We want to change the narrative. Like, okay, we all can complain about the problem. We all can talk about what we need or what we should have or what was lost. What are you individually going to do?
Do you think people are ready for this conversation about the hard reality, the facts that the reality check here? Because you're saying that the solutions that people would vent about the problems, but ownership and the responsibility of who we are as Virgin Islanders, who we are as Crucians, Antonians, and St. Jonians, are we ready for that hard conversation as to what we need to do to be able to create that space that we can, one, stay here.
The readiness marker is gone. We're not waiting for people to get ready. We're saying we have people who are ready, and we're gonna keep moving forward. We hope you join us, and until you're ready, we're gonna keep moving. We can't wait for people to get ready, because as we wait for people to get ready, our young men are dying, our children are leaving and not coming back. We're losing our culture. The look and smell of the place is changing. We no longer wait for people to get ready. We need time.
I think that's a really great question too, because as we're moving forward, we need to move forward with grace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that means that those that are not ready, we have to create the example for them.
Yeah.
So that we leave that door open, as she mentioned, for when they are ready. And so, that's a really great point, because those that are doing the work, you get weary in it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that weariness, sometimes there's judgment for those who are not acting. And we need to create the spaces for those that are weary to be able to take a step back, take a breath, and allow somebody else to continue the work so they can jump back in and not be frustrated with the fact that the same 10%. That's one of the challenges, even with Rise VI, we have.
Yeah.
Those that are on the core committee, we're already doing so much that we are having a hard time moving at the pace we want to move at. So we're moving.
Yeah, our tensions are good.
Yeah, we're moving, but really and truly, because everybody is so, busy doing good work, we just can't move as fast as we need to. And so I feel like that is real. And in order for us to tilt that narrative in a different direction, we have to allow grace for those to come in and allow, Sonia, okay, well, Sonia can only come in for 5 minutes.
It's okay.
We welcome you for your 5 minutes. Okay. And when you have 10, we can't wait.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
And we just keep on, because if I get 5 from Sonia, and I get 5 from Lori, and I get 5 from Yanni, and 5, at some point we're going to hit an hour worth of time.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to just keep pushing, so that, our community sees that there's always a door open for them.
And don't come by yourself, right? I want to add, because even if you look at you and Bella and myself and we bring our community with us, right? We ain't taking this journey by
Bella
ourselves,
my daughter, she's 13.
We're bringing them. It's 4. We're bringing them along, and they're coming with us to help with the clean. They have, because they're the next generation to move this forward, right? If we don't teach them, how do they know?
When I stop on the side of the road to pick up trash, she got to jump out the car too.
My 4-year-old will rake, and she pull in, and if I clean it up, she clean in too. Because if you could dirty, you could clean, right? So you have to teach them from young. My son, he was working since he was.
Well, once you go walk, you go walk.
True story. And so I want to say he was like 7 or 6 working with Sana, and so now he knows the skills. He knows customer service. If he ain't doing it, he work for you, is because he ain't want to do it. Because he so just so we put that on the record. But I'm saying you teach them from small, right? So that way we create the community, we create that intention, we create the knowing. So when our children, our community don't show up, it's not because they didn't know, it's because they choose not to.
So how can they show up and be part of Rise VI?
That was going to be my
question.
Yeah. So I would say the first step is to reach out. So risevi.stx. So rise, RISEVI.stx @gmail.com, strategicsolutions1@yahoo.com, or you can reach out to us on WhatsApp, Rise VI, or Facebook. We got so many portals. Talk to us. We will receive you in any one of those forums, and tell us what you got, tell us what you need, tell us what you want. By the 14th, I think it's when is the Limbridge Park again?
12th.
The 12th. We'll be ready with Rise with our nation builder. So
that'll be another tool.
Yeah, that'll be another tool where you can log in, and we're hoping to, because I'm driven by analytics. Sana is too, and we want to make sure that we're not just doing something. We want to measure the impact, measure the success, track it. So we're really working with Nation Builder. If there's anybody in the community that really wants to lend some time and help us create our Nation Builder site, we are welcoming some support there, because our hope is we can track all the great things we're doing. So let's say, for example, coming for you, the Market West, don't worry. They have a beautiful wall that we're like, oh my God, this would be so wonderful if we put a mural there, for example. And so we want, when we create these spaces, or when the community create these spaces, that you can drive through and you can see the map of all the progress, you can see the signage. And so, Nation Builder will allow us to track our impact. It will allow our Crucians across borders to participate and see what's happening. And if they're only coming for a weekend to visit, we can connect them to something they can do for the weekend. And so we're really hoping to grow bigger with Nation Builder. So anybody out there, you want to help?
I will also share that you can email and say, I don't know what to do.
And we'll help you.
You can email and say, I don't have the first step. I don't know what to do. That is perfectly fine, because that's the step we want. You don't have to have it all in your brain. You don't have to have it worked out. You don't have to know what you want to do. All you have to do is have it in you to want to do something, and we'll guide you from there.
And we do have 7 pillars. So when we did, I don't know if we made it clear that this was intentional research. So this wasn't just an idea, like it was a thought, yes, but we did a lot of research, a lot of studies to understand. And so we were able to break it down into 7 pillars of need. So to Sana's point, if you don't know your niche, if you don't know where you fit in, but let's say your passion is wellness or your passion is environment, we have a group just for that. So you can go into a centralized group and make some noise and do some stuff, or you can go in a broader group where you can just do some of everything. But just join us, email us, reach out to us, we'll help you along.
What about, because you're starting on St. Croix?
Yes.
The first cohort, pilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting on St. Croix. What are your plans to?
It's Rise VI.
So have you started in St. Thomas?
So our connection started with a collective mix of St. Thomians and St. Johnians, because to Sana's point earlier, our connections happens big up against St. Croix Foundation through St. Croix Foundation exercise was
the Kids Count retreat.
Yes, and so we met
the second
one.
Yes.
The one yesterday, because we had our board.
Yeah, that was a presentation, but they actually had 2 retreats. The first year was a policy one, and then the second year was community impact.
Yes.
One, and so
that's where we that's where we connected the like-minded people, and so they are St. Johnians and St. Thomians who are also very passionate about Rise VI and the movement and the mindset shift, and so they're standing by, and so we're hoping to get it moving in St. Croix. And if you're St. Johnians and St. Thomians, you're ready, we're ready. But like Sana mentioned, we're working with our crew, and they said if you want work done, ask busy people, and we have busy people doing a lot of the work. And so we had our discussion yesterday about just how do we keep moving while being respectful that our team is really doing some
good work.
Doing some stuff. So we don't want to disrupt what they're doing, but we're also kind of needy, saying we want some piece of that too. So St. Johnians, St. Thomians, come, we're ready.
And it'll be a great template. I think that once we start seeing, and the community sees the visual impact, which is why the data collection and stuff from Nation Builder is so important, because we need to put that narrative out there. I think those that are loud and negative, they often get amplified, right? What if we can amplify the positive and have data to support it? So you can't argue it. You can't argue with me about how many people are involved and talk about, we don't ever do. No, yeah, we do. Because look, we have it right here. This is all that we're doing, and it's growing consistently. And so I think that once we have the template, then our, St. Thomians and St. Johnians will be able to use that template to jump on and continue doing it. That momentum is easier to push, once somebody has started. So we are looking forward to this spreading and then going out wherever.
Yeah.
Take it and run with it, right? Like we're not being selfish with the model. I think we really want change, and however that needs to happen, then we're here for it.
So what message do you want to leave with the people of the United States, Virgin Islands?
Stand up and rise, y'all. Let's do it, right? Now is the time, right? Bring what you got. Bring your passion, bring your joy, bring your vision. Just bring it and let's connect you to the bigger picture, which is sustainability and resilience and just a future Virgin Islands that we can leave behind for our children and generations to come. Come forward, man. We all down Facebook, we all down social media, we are in our own little private circles talking about the problem. Come forward, let we deal with the solution. Come forward,
I
right?
like how you bring the Crucian accent
Oh.
to end with it.
Oh.
And you didn't add a massage to it, right? But we are, any last words, Lori?
No, I think that was a perfect way. Just take that step.
Yes, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And
Thank you for having us. We really
absolutely.
appreciate it. And like I said, tap into Strategic Solutions Network, Inc. We are here. We are your partners. We want to, continue to promote financial literacy. And we know in order to promote that, we have to look at all aspects of people. And so that's workforce development, that's financials, that's community engagement. So if you don't know how to do it, connect to us, Strategic Solutions 1@yahoo.com. Thank
Phone
you
number?
so much. Email is fine. Okay. Yeah, email is the quickest way to get through to us. So Strategic Solutions 1, the number 1 @yahoo.com.
And then we also do have a number, but again, email's best, 340-332-7336, 340-332-7336.
That's what I didn't say, 'cause I
Yes.
can remember.
But strategic solutions 1@yahoo.com.
thank you, ladies.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
being here.
Alrighty.
Please come back and update us. on the
Please have
progress.
me back. Yes, thank you.
Yo,
See,
in the
I know
middle
you
of my
could.
thought, I forgot what I was saying. I was like,
Really?
oh yeah, we're still on there.